Check out the new foot troops of Tzeentch when this week's Thousand Sun releases.
Spiky bits.
Alright, welcome back, Hobby Maniacs. Baer here again with you today, taking a look at the brand new troops for the Thousand Suns, aka Tzeentch, that just came out to go along with the Curse of Magnus rules / supplement for Games Workshop. Now, 3 new kits here. Of course, we got the Sorcerer stuff, which are in a separate video. I can't remember a time when I wasn't making videos. That's okay. That's what we do here. So we've got the Thousand Suns Rubric Marines, which are clocking in at $50. And then we've got the Occult Terminators, which I think are a little bit more expensive. Those are $60. And then the Tzaangors are $45 and come with 10 miniatures. Now, these are the kind of like air quotes mortal troops. They're more like the expendable guys for the Thousand Sun armies, and you can definitely tell once you open this bad boy up that there is something going on with perhaps a future kit for them for perhaps Age of Sigmar, and you'll see what I mean here in a second. So there you can kind of see all the different poses and things like that. Now these guys definitely remind me of the old Beastmen from Fantasy, I guess now Age of Sigmar. But they come with 32mm bases, super easy, and they're very similar in styling, of course, to the models that come in the Silver Tower. And then here you can see there's some of the assembled models. Now it is kind of a hot mess, and it's completely up to you, like how you put them together. You just gotta, you got several different options to put the front torsos on the back torso. It's kind of like a combo kit where the front is included in the legs. The only gotchas you really need to know is just kind of making sure that your arms kind of match up to each other set-wise. Now, you'll notice here that there's a super mini little sprue that basically is the only thing that makes these guys 40k, and there's 2 of these, which gives you enough arms to make the 10 models. But now when you get back to these sprues here, there's 2 separate sprues, but you get 2 of them, so 5 dudes each with lots of different posabilities. I mean, you've got all sorts of different hand weapons. There's the double-handed axe, and then the guy for, what is he called? The Bray twist, I think he's called. The twist Bray. So a little bit to do with the Beastmen, sort of, at least in nomenclature there. So there's your finished product, which you can kind of see. The auto pistol and chainsword, or a close combat weapon, or of course you've got a couple of these dudes that have, what is it, the double-handed, thought there was a couple that had a double-handed axe. I may have misspoken there. Yep, it looks like it. They all just had the close combat weapon with auto pistol chainsword with close combat weapons. But don't get it twisted, there is shields in here, and there's no need for shields in 40k, of course. So obviously something is coming in the future. Perhaps this will be, oh yeah, and there's the double-handed axe. So this is definitely, they don't talk about that in the instruction manual, but so I would imagine this is going to be part of a future Age of Sigmar release as well, sans these 2 little sprues. So that, we'll keep an eye on that and see what Games Workshop prices that kit out at when it releases. But coming back into the Grimdark, we've got the Scarab Occult Terminators. Now, I don't know if you had a chance or you even played back in the day when these guys were pewter and they were super hard to convert, and when you're trying to do the Occult Terminators, like aka Slaanesh, Khorne, or Nurgle, or even Tzeentch, that it was a lot of conversion to get these guys done. And they didn't come out with plastic Terminators until, I want to say 2005, 2006. And even then, it still took some work to personalize them. Now, we've got the very first, I guess Forge World did some kits too, but the very first in plastic at least, Cult Terminator models, which are based on the Tzaangors pattern set of armor, which is part of Horus Heresy. Those are the ones that let you perform sweeping advances. And I don't believe they are slow and purposeful, I want to say, or that they are. I forget the 30k rules. Now, these, for all 40k purposes, according to the rules in the Wrath of Magnus book, are just a normal set of Terminator armor. But that doesn't take anything away from the styling, because you can definitely tell they have morphed over the millennia to be this ornate kind of, not necessarily Baroque, but definitely ornate kind of styled armor based off the original pattern with, you know, the Egyptian headdresses and all the Aspiring Sorcerer, which has the 2 wounds, really comes to the fore right there. Now, there was a lot of crazy rumors, you know, in the beginning that, or not even the beginning, just like literally 2 weeks ago, that these guys were 2 wounds, and they had all these special rules for the Terminator armor that is, as far as I can tell, false, glancing at the Wrath of Magnus book right there. So there's your 40 mil bases, and then we're going to kind of jump into the models themselves. There's that ginormous new Chaos decal sheet that we saw with the Mauler Fiend and the Helldrake almost 4 years ago to the month. Alright, and there's the 2 sprues. Now, you can definitely tell that there isn't a whole lot of options. And when I say options, like, you pick one, you put it together, and you're good to go. Now, each one of these leg sets, you can clip it off right next to each other because those are the ones that pair up. There's a bunch of different head options as well. And then, of course, you've got your power weapons up here. Everything goes together. The bolters are 2-part, you know, as far as the aspiring sorcerer goes, he's got 2 different kind of tabard options and 2 different little staff toppers, I guess you could call them. But that's pretty much it when it comes to posability, or I guess convertibility. But don't get me wrong, it's very good looking. I mean, you've got the Bell Flamer, or not the Bell Flamer, the Warp Flamer, or the Heavy Warp Flamer, and then of course you've got the brand new Roto Cannon, the Gatling gun right there of Doom. Now let's take a look at the instruction manual just so you can see these guys are actually really easy to put together. 2-part legs, 2-part top, and then the torso goes on, or the torso / headdress rather, goes on the front right underneath the head. The only thing that's really super complicated is putting the bolter together, and then the arm goes right on, shoulder pads on top. So you got, if you're into airbrushing, this is probably going to be a boon for you because you can leave a lot of those pieces off, airbrush them separate, and then glue them back on to the model. There's your Heavy Warp Flamer, your Soul Reaper Cannon, that new Roto Blaster, which is pretty dope. And then just the normal Inferno Combi Bolter, which spits that hot AP3 fire. So they show you how to do each one by one right there. And then of course you got the Hellfire missiles. They're fancy because they're spelled with a Y. I love it. I say it with my pinky out. It's a cool kit. I mean, if this is an example of what we can expect from further Cult Terminator releases, I cannot wait to see obviously the Berserkers and the Death Guard and even the Slaaneshi ones. I wish Slaanesh would take a little bit more active role. When I say active, I guess I really mean more relevant role in the rules, but we really haven't seen that in a while either. Last but certainly not least is the new Rubric Marines. Now, we did see something like this before. Games Workshop had some pewter upgrade kits for the plastics that came out in 2003, which have since been redone in this decade to be a little bit more multi-part, a little bit more customizable, but they held true to their roots of that original kit in 2003 with the bolt pistol, you know, all the ornate Baroque kind of facets, you know, all the spiky bits on there, all of the trim, you know, all the dope like leering demon faces, and just the stuff that makes Chaos so cool to want to collect and hobby on. Now these guys here really stay true to their styling. You get 10 helmets or 10 heads with that ornate Egyptian headdress. You get 2 different ones to choose from. The Sorcerer is actually more customizable than the Thousand Sun one. And here you can see a better look at what you got going on here. Each one of these guys can be armed with the Warp Flamer or the Inferno Bolt. And then of course you've got the Soul Reaper Cannon as well. And then there's the 4 staff with 2 different topping options. I think there's 2 different backpacks. There's definitely 2 different heads for that guy too. Jumping into the kit itself, oh, and the little icon, I think there's 2 different little icons that attach to the back. They are on the 32 mil base, and I believe they do have that split leg kind of design that we saw for Space Marines, at least, with the new Burning Prospero Burns box set, or Burning a Prospero, which was the Iron Armor, which these guys are basically, you know, evolved from, or devolved from if you factor in Chaos. What I like about these sprues, and some of the gotchas that you need to know, is that the leg sets, you got to cut them out and they match up to each other. But fortunately, they're right next to each other on the sprue. You know, consult the instruction manual, look at the numbers. Same over here. Your arm sets are all right here. Actually, they're not all right here. There's a couple of them on this sprue right here, but I digress. And then, of course, you got all your torsos. Now, some of them match up to each other perfectly, but some of them have the little rivets or the little power cables, so you gotta watch out for those as well, so you don't have a power cable going to the back and there's nothing there, it's just flush. You don't want that. And then there's 8 of your heads. The other sets are on this the bolter sprue right there, and then all of your shoulder pads. Very cool stuff there. Taking a look at the weapon sprue. Again, you can see some really dope things. You've got all 10 of your flamer weapons right there, and then of course your Soul Reaper cannon, the Inferno bolt guns, more Inferno bolt guns. There's the rest of your sets of arms. Boom, boom, boom. The icon of flame. All your shoulder or all your backpacks are right there. Over here is all the leg sets. Like I said, cut them out next to each other, and then of course you've got all the tabards. Boom, boom, boom. And the stuff for the sorcerer, the bits for the sorcerer as well, and his little 4-staff toppers and his little flame warfire flame gun, if you want to give him that, or if you want to go with the bolt pistol, the Inferno bolt pistol. Again, a really cool, neat little kit. Very exciting if that is the standard for future Berserkers, future Death Guard, future, Noise Marines. I would love. I think out of all of those we've seen, I guess Khorne and Nurgle has definitely got the most amount of love as of late from Forge World. I would love to see some Noise Marines, like on straight up plastic versions of the Cacophony that came out from Forge World with the Horus Heresy releases. I would love to see some of that. And who knows what we're going to see with the Chaos Legions book when that comes out. I'm super stoked. Like, this is an exciting time to be it. I've been a long time Chaos player, since 20 some years. It's crazy. That was my first kit, was the Chaos Terminators pewter box set way back in the 90s, that I actually had enough money to buy a whole box set, which was really cool. But now, man, it's wide open, and we're seeing so much cool new things. I can't wait to get my hands on the Chaos Legions book, because that's more not as specialized as 1,000 Suns. But if this was all we got, that would be cool too. But knowing that Chaos Legions is like right around the corner, it's like a Christmas before Christmas, and I can't wait.
Deleted scenes, bonus content, and all the interviews and post-game wrap-up videos can be located in the Hall of Veterans on thelongwar.net. Visit thelongwar.net today and try a week completely free with no strings attached. That's not all. Thelongwar.net is also your hobby resource for exclusive early access with an ad-free experience to all your favorite videos. Members of the Hall of Veterans gain early exclusive access to multiple hobby videos.